Hey, big thanks to Bluefin Brands on this one. Check them out in the description, as well as links as to where you can pick this one up.
Dragon Ball, horror, kaiju, and more. Steven's Toy Reviews.
Hey there, collectors, it's Steven here, and welcome to another Robot Spirits review. Today we're going to be taking a look at another Evangelion figure, where yesterday we took a look at the Robot Spirits Atlas Destroyer from Pacific Rim, so that was an Evangelion review as well. I'm funny, ain't I? Yeah. Today we're going to be taking a look at, alright, here's the box. You ready? Evangelion Test Type 1 plus Spear of Cassius Renewal Color Edition. And this is going to be from Rebuild of Evangelion. If you're keeping count, that's 3.0 plus 1.0. Or for those of you who like it nice and simple, that's going to be 4.0. But Anno decided that he wanted to change it. Why? I don't know, but I don't get paid to make those decisions. So here in front of us, we have what is going to be the fourth release of Unit 1 in the Robot Spirits lineup, if I counted correctly. Here we go with counting. I didn't get a master's degree in that. And folks are definitely going to want to know if this one is going to be worth picking up. Why? We have another release of Unit 1 in a new paint scheme with some different accessories. Yeah, so folks are already probably going to have a Unit 1 in their collection, and this is going to be another one to put up on the shelf. So, is it worth the purchase? Well, the obvious answer is yes. It's Bandai, it's a robot, it's Evangelion. It checks pretty much all the boxes. So let's take a look to see what this girl offers to add to your collection. And yeah. I mean, right off the bat, it's going to be a good review. So let's just kind of go through the paces and see what she has to offer. So what I'm counting figure-wise is way back many years ago, we had the original release of Unit 1. They did, I think it was just Unit 0, 1, 2, and 3 when they did their first shot at the Robot Spirits lineup around 2010 to 2012. And then back in 2020, they did another shot at Robot Spirits for Evangelion, and they did a Unit 1 then. So we have the original Unit 1 from many years ago, a repaint, Night Combat Unit 1. Then we have the 2020 version of Unit 1, which is a renewal. And then we have a repaint of the renewal. So whenever I'm talking about the original Unit 1 in this review, I'm referring to the most recent renewal of Unit 1, just to make things simple, okay? Okay. Now, why did I kind of fluff that out? Well, short, sweet, and to the point, the original Unit 1 renewal, no issues really there when it comes to sculpt and paint, except if you really look up close and personal with macro photography, you may notice a couple of things amiss here or there. You can check out my review of that figure. It should be popping up in the top right-hand corner of your screen. You may notice some things like the emblem on the shoulder, not necessarily completely clean. We have a little bit of an overspray on the forearms for the green. Here for this release, honestly, I even took an even more intense magnification lens. We went really up close and personal with that macro photography, and honestly, I can't really see anything here. If you're finding an issue with the paint application, I really don't know what to say. Maybe this hobby isn't for you. Now, one thing that I really do like about this figure, that I think is really cool, I didn't really notice it that much on the original release. I actually had to go back and take a look at that. There's some really nice metallic highlights on the hands. That's pretty cool. I really like that. So, short, sweet, and to the point. Yeah, she looks great. And the green on this one really strikes out. It's really cool. I like it a whole lot. So yeah, she looks good. Next section. Can I just say good articulation and move on? I mean, come on. Robot Spirits, Evangelion. Bandai knows what they're doing. And it's going to be a repaint of the original release, so that was amazing. But let's go ahead and run through her again, shall we? Jaw's going to open and close on a hinge. The jaw's a little tight on this one, so at first I thought maybe they changed something up, but nope, it does open up about that far, so really wide. Head's going to be on a ball joint system, so this way we can get it to spin around. All nice. And the neck is going to have a very fancy, funky ball joint system. Look at that. So between the hinge there, you can get her to kind of look straight like that, which is really creepy. Fits in with Evangelion. And we can get her to look over to the side like that, like that. So yeah, lots of fun movement in the neck. We do have the shoulder. And then you can... improperly align everything in the neck, and then things get a little screwy. The shoulder pylons, I guess you might call those are going to plug in on ball joints. So they wiggle around. And then the way that it works for the arm system is that this bicep sculpt is going to plug in. But before this plugs in, there's a little ring where these plug in basically on swivels. Okay, so there's a little disc that the ball joint is seated in, so this way they can move around. Okay, so that's how that works. If you do have the original release, you can mix and match with the accessories, but color-wise, it's not really going to be a one-to-one match. So just something to keep in mind. Shoulders, what do we have? Well, the shoulders are going to plug into the body on a ball joint, but before that, there is going to be another ball joint that allows you to move them around. So it's kind of sort of difficult to see. You can maybe see better if I just go ahead and rip the pylon off like that and zoom in. You can see that there's this section there where it plugs in. That's going to be on a ball joint. And then there's going to be another ball joint that allows you to move everything around, which is really cool. So it's kind of sort of not really a butterfly hinge. And that's how that system works. And it's very easy to pop off. I mean, with the other Ava units, I do it all the time, so it's not an issue. See, watch this. They pop off, you just bop them back right into place. Anyway, yeah, so that's going to be the shoulder system where the ball joints plug in. And then obviously we are going to have ball joints for the shoulders, so we get good range of movement. Everything moves nice and solid. We are going to have hinges, so this way she can T-pose, no issue. You just move those pylons right out of the way. And then as you saw, we do have bicep swivels, so this way you can move the arm and you can spin it. Now, here's a neat gimmick that I see a lot of folks miss out on, okay? When you open up at least all the Ava 01s, 0s and 2s, okay, you're going to notice, and actually you'll see this in the pictures for the sculpt and paint section, that it's a rather flush connection for the elbow joint, right? And so it's going to be a single elbow hinge, and you get that much movement, and it's going to have a swivel as well, okay? In the instructions, they actually tell you you can pop them down a bit more. Actually, you can pop them all out. What's really cool about these Ava units is that these renewals, they're all kind of modular, so you can kind of mix and match and build your own Avas. But anyway, yeah, you can, let me just pop this back in, pop down the elbow joint, and you can get a little better range of movement. So that's cool. Wrists, what do we have? Well, they're going to plug in on a peg, and then they're going to have a hinge. So this way we can spin the wrist around. Very cool. And then the hands are going to have a ball joint. So this way they can move around there as well. Whew. Okay. Chest. These are going to be on what appear to be hinges, but some have told me it's ball joints. But I can basically only get hinge movements to open and close those doors. All right. Count with me here because I'm bad at counting. 1, 2, 3 ball joints in the torso. Very good. Hips. If you're familiar with Figuarts, drop down style hinges. So when you factor that in, she can kick that far forward and that far back. Nope, she can spin all the way around. No issues there. Doing the splits. That's kind of where she can't really do it too well. But that's okay considering, you know, she can pretty much do everything else. Now, those hip joints are going to plug into the thigh on a ball joint. So you can get a little bit of wiggle movement there, as you can see. But that is also going to lead to a thigh swivel, which is good. Double hinge knees. And then the knee guard is on a hinge as well. The ankles are really cool. All right. So we do have a hinge that allows you to move the ankle like that. Okay. Then we are going to have a hinge that allows you, or I guess it would be a swivel, to move the ankle like that to get a rocker. The guard is going to be on a ball joint. That can pop off. Don't be afraid of that. And then we have a toe hinge. I mean, good. Let's talk accessories. And this has been a little bit of the hang up for some folks when they're deciding whether or not they want to pick this release up. So she's going to come with 6 extra sets of hands. That's cool. She's going to come with an alternate horn part in the event that you do lose it. She's going to come with a Tamashii stage adapter. So this way you can clip it in to her pelvis region. So this way you can support her up in the air. She is obviously going to come with the Spear of Cassius it's in the name of the figure, we're going to get one progressive knife and we're going to get one pallet rifle. All right, so for all of those hands, we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at them. We're obviously going to get the sort of default lightly splayed hands, but we're going to get fists, really splayed hands, sort of gripping hands, so this way she can either, rip open the AT field like the original release or fire a Kamehameha. We're going to get also gripping hands, so this way she can hold the progressive knife and the pallet rifle, no issues, Specium Ray hands, and then we're going to get dedicated hands for the Spear of Cassius. Now, these actually look very, very similar to the other gripping hands for the other weapons that she comes with. Just something to keep in mind, you don't really want to get these mixed up. Now, you can interchange the weapons to hold the Spear of Cassius, but it is not recommended just because the hands that hold the spear, those have a tighter grip because the spear, the actual handle, I guess you would call it, is thinner than the knife and the rifle. Just something to really keep in mind. Now, the quality control here is really top notch, except I would notice that there's a little bit of extra flashing on the hands for the Spear of Cassius. So just something if you're really looking to keep track of what may be going a bump in the night here, that's kind of the only issue here. So Spear of Cassius has a nice metallic blue, sort of greenish. I guess that might be a gem. I'm not really quite sure. It's Evangelion. Who really knows what's going on at the one tip of it? And it looks like it's painted really, really nice. Honestly, all the metallic paint apps that are going on here for this figure, they're applied really, really well. And that's going to be about it. Now, really quick for the Tamashii Stage Support Adapter, yes, there is going to be one that does clip into the bottom area of her pelvis, but on the original release, there was an umbilical cable that was included, and that plugs into her back. Since this is going to be a repaint of that figure, if you wanted to, kind of like that's being demonstrated in this review, you can actually plug a Stage Act support arm directly into her back instead. Now, some folks have noted that this one does come with fewer accessories than the original release. I'm going to argue that we do get the Spear of Cassius, which is really big, and something of note as well, you can actually detach both ends of the spear because there's a metallic peg that they're attached to. So if you did want to do that for whatever reason, for photography purposes, you can go ahead and you can do that. So yes, we get one big spear and we lose a couple other accessories. So this is clearly meant to be the draw of this figure. But if you are looking for support stands, effect parts, I got videos to help you out. Now let's go ahead and take a look at a side-by-side comparison with some other figures you just might have, so this way you can get an idea of how big this girl's gonna be. And again, it's gonna be a repaint of the original release, so you know how big she's gonna be if you do happen to have that. And of course, the side-by-side comparison with the original release, so this way you can see what was changed for the colors. I would have to say they kind of bumped up the contrast for the Spear of Cassius Renewal Color Edition because it seems like the colors are just a bit more rich and vibrant on this one. Having them side by side, I will say that I thought this one would be a bit more intense, but it's not necessarily so, but definitely having them side by side, you can tell that there is a big difference between them. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Obviously, we know she looks fantastic with great sculpt and paint that is really faithful to the source material. Articulation, we don't even really need to summarize that aside from saying it's phenomenal. Now for the accessories, again, this is going to be the point of contention for some folks where they do think that there is going to be a serious reduction in accessories, when in reality we get one huge spear and we lose out on a couple of other things, which if that is going to be something that is for you, then hey, fantastic. If not, fantastic as well. Overall, I think that for this release, we do get the Spear of Cassius, which in the rebuild continuity, that is going to be super important for those who are diehard fans. If you're not a diehard fan, well, then I guess that decision's already been made for you. Overall, though, again, I would have to say that if you are a fan of Evangelion, this is definitely a must-have purchase because wherever you're going to be displaying your collection, your man cave, in a studio, wherever the case may be, yeah, it's going to be great to have another Unit-01 somewhere else in your display.
Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now, you've heard a lot from me. I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand selected for you, so if you want to watch another STR video, I hand selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.